Not seeing my videos in your subscription feed? Make sure you've clicked the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of all my newest uploads.
Hey, what's up people? Pizzal here, and I'm in a completely different part of the man cave. I'm in a completely different vantage point for this video. As some of you guys may know, I am doing a complete overhaul of the man cave. I'm rearranging, I'm resorting, I'm rebuilding. I am just totally redesigning the man cave. It was something that has been long overdue, and it's turned into quite a little project. But this is sort of the Friday the 13th shrine. Behind me, I've got up some cool posters and some figures and what have you, and I'm going to add more stuff to it. And I'm more than halfway finished with the repackaging of the man cave. So once the man cave is finished, I'll do a brand new updated man cave tour video, because I know a lot of you guys out there have been asking for that video for quite some time. So it is hopefully very soon in the coming. But why I'm sitting in front of the Friday the 13th shrine in the man cave is because I want to talk to you guys about the Friday the 13th 2017 scripts that were leaked online. Now, of course, Friday the 13th 2017 is dead. You all know that. I did a video talking about the reasons why it is dead. I'll link that video at the end of this video. But now that the project is dead, now that Paramount has driven a stake into the heart of Friday the 13th 2017, the scripts are leaking. The Aaron Guzikowski script, which they were actually in pre-production on. This was a script that they were going to make into Friday the 13th 2017, is out there. Also a script entitled Friday the 13th 3D from Nick and Tosca is out there as well. Now, I've read the Nick and Tosca script. I've not gotten my hands on the Aaron Guzikowski script just yet. I hopefully will very soon. But Bloody Disgusting reportedly got their hands on it. They did a complete synopsis of the script, and if the script that they have is the true Aaron Guzikowski script that they were in pre-production on, that they were about to go into production on and deliver to us this October, then I really think we dodged a bullet. I really think we dodged a major bullet not having this script be the 13th installment in the Friday the 13th series. I'll put a link to the Bloody Disgusting article below. Go check it out. I hardly know where to begin sort of talking about this thing. Now keep in mind, when I'm reading this synopsis, I'm seeing it all through the same prism that I saw the 2009 Friday the 13th remake in. So I'm envisioning the movie through that just horrible looking, that dirty yellow sort of filter that the Platinum Dunes people use on every one of their horror movies, making every one of them look pretty much exactly the same. It's as if the film has been soaked in a dirty toilet, although they don't shoot on film anymore. It's like they've got a pea yellow Instagram filter that they apply to. Anyway, that's a whole other video. So I'm seeing the Friday the 13th 2017 film in that light. And like the Friday the 13th 2009 remake, the Aaron Guzikowski script seems to start, stop, and then start and stop again. If you remember in the remake, it begins toward the end of where the original Friday the 13th ended, with Pamela Voorhees getting decapitated. Then you are introduced to these other characters out hiking in Jason's pot field. They get dispatched. That ends. Then plot A basically starts. Then the real plot of the movie starts. It seems like with this Aaron Guzikowski Friday the 13th script, there doesn't seem to be, let alone the A plot or a plot period, because there are 3 killers in this movie. The movie begins with Elias Voorhees as the killer running around the camp picking off teenagers. Then Pamela Voorhees starts running around the camp killing off teenagers. And then finally, in what appears to be the last act of the movie, or roughly the last 30 minutes of the movie, we actually get Jason as Jason doing what Jason does. So you've got a start-stop, and then another start-stop. That's going to be roughly about 30 minutes each. Or, the thing that blew me away about just reading this synopsis was just how overly stuffed it was. It read like the synopsis of a 2.5-hour movie. I don't know how they can fit that much into a 90-minute movie and make it even remotely make sense. Why is Elias Voorhees killing people in the first act of the movie? We know why Pamela Voorhees is killing people in the second act of the movie, although they rewrite the mythology, according to this Bloody Disgusting article, where Jason just doesn't drown because the counselors are out doing what teenagers do and they're not paying attention to Michael, and because of Jason, excuse me, because of their negligence, Jason drowns. It's actually you have two counselors that are just tormenting Jason. They take Jason out into a boat, young Jason. He wears like a mask or something to hide his face. They torment him. They're recording it all on a Super 8 camera. Jason jumps out of the boat to try and swim back to shore. He drowns, and Pamela starts doing her thing. We dodged a major bullet here. I think we dodged a major bullet, because reading this synopsis, literally every paragraph, I was just shaking my head thinking, as a Friday the 13th fan, as I'm sure most, if not all of you are who are watching this video, I can guarantee you with 100% certainty, if that synopsis on Bloody Disgusting is correct, this 13th installment in the Friday the 13th series is not going to satisfy anybody. We dodged a major bullet, put it that way. In that Friday the 13th video, where I talk about the reasons why the Paramount pulled the plug on Friday the 13th, 2017, I said at the end of it, look, I'd rather have no Friday the 13th than another bad Friday the 13th. And I think we were going to have another bad Friday the 13th. I really do. Aaron Guzikowski, he hit the ball out of the park with Prisoners. Here, unless this is supposed to be a 2.5-hour epic, I don't see it. I just don't see it. And even then, I don't see it being satisfying, because we get an origin story that rewrites the mythology, and then in the last act is only when we get to see Jason. Basically, they're following the start-stop kind of method of the remake, and throwing in there the Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday a method of only having Jason in the last 30 minutes of the movie, because clearly Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday is hands down everybody's favorite Friday the 13th movie, right? Who wants to go to a Friday the 13th movie and only see Jason at the very end of the movie? Well, that would have been Friday the 13th, 2017. Again, we dodged a major bullet. Again, I'd rather have no new Friday the 13th than a bad Friday the 13th, and I think we were going to get a bad Friday the 13th. Now, I have had the opportunity to read Mr. Antosca's script entitled Friday the 13th 3D. It had a date on it of June 4th, 2015. I'll put a link to that script in the description as well. It was posted on Reddit. I've heard people talk about this script and how it was more of a standard old school slasher movie, and it absolutely was. And it was actually not bad. It was actually, I think, pretty good. I think it would have made a pretty good 13th installment in the Friday the 13th series. Now, take away the 3D gimmick and just have it as an old school slasher movie. Here's how old school it is. The first kill doesn't happen in the movie until about page 30, roughly about 30 minutes into the movie. So the first 30 minutes of the movie is just all about the characters, establishing the characters, building the characters, character interactions. And that was really refreshing. That was really refreshing. And I liked the characters in this screenplay. And when Jason showed up, he shows up in a pretty big way. There's a big body count in this movie. Some good kills in this movie. Jason is depicted as just an absolute beast in this movie. The last half hour is just a bloodbath. It all culminates in broad daylight on Main Street, Crystal Lake. Jason tearing through cops, tearing through townies, tearing through the surviving teenagers in the movie. And I was just reading this thing, scrolling, going, yes, yes. And then at the end of it, great ending, by the way. Great closing shot of Jason, just bodies everywhere. Jason walking down Main Street into the sun. Mythic. Mythic. Cuts to the end credits. It begins to snow. They show just the abandoned Crystal Lake community, and there's one set of boot prints in the snow. I saw it as if it were right there on the screen in front of me, and I would have walked out of that movie pretty happy. I would have walked out of that movie pretty satisfied, because this was an old school, character-driven slasher movie. Now, yes, the 3D gimmick was attached to it, but forgive them for that. Why was this not intended to be Friday the 13th, 2015 or 2016? Why didn't they take this script in June of 2015 and go, okay, this is our baby. We're going to start shooting this in August. We'll have it out by early 2016. Why could they not use this script? This was the script. This was the Friday the 13th that we should have got for the 13th Friday the 13th film. And for one reason or another, they went with the backstory, the origin story, the start, stop, and just give us Jason as we know him in the last act of the movie, in the last 30 minutes of the movie. I don't get it. I don't think I want to get it. I really want to just bash Platinum Dunes here, because they just stop making horror movies. Please, just stop making horror movies. Get out of the horror movie business. You've got this good script, and then you've got this wonky script. I know we're making a Friday the 13th movie here, but let's make it where Jason only shows up at the very end of the movie. That's our script right there. Let's run with it. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Oh, I'm speechless. I'm blown away. I'm happy Friday the 13th, 2017 is not happening, because it would have just been another bad Friday the 13th movie. It was not going to satisfy anybody. Maybe the totally uninitiated people who had no idea what Friday the 13th was, who were just taking their dates to the movies on Friday the 13th, and it's a Friday the 13th. The title says Friday the 13th. It's a horror movie. I'm going to take my date to that movie. Maybe then they would have been satisfied with no idea of what Friday the 13th is or was. The rest of us, the fans, the real fans of this series, would not have been satisfied with that movie. I'm positive. The Friday the 13th 3D, we would have been. We absolutely, I think, would have been. What were they thinking? That's my only question. What were they thinking? And if they had done this Friday the 13th 3D script, which was finished, I'm sure what I was reading was the final draft, it was done in 2015, in the summer of 2015. They had 2 years, year and a half, whatever, to get that done. That could have been out in 2.5 years. That could have been out in 2016. No. We got to go with this. We got to go with the backstory. We got to go with the origin story. We got to rewrite the mythology, and we'll only have Jason in there at the very end. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Read Mr. Antosca's script. Follow that link. Read it. Come back. Let me know what you think of it. Check out that Bloody Disgusting article. Read the synopsis of Aaron Guzikowski's script. Let me know what you think of that. Compare the two. And you guys tell me, as Friday the 13th fans, which one of those scripts would you have rather seen on the big screen? And I think hands down, despite it being in 3D, you're gonna go with Friday the 13th 3D. I don't know. I feel like I've babbled enough here. Again, I'm speechless. What were they thinking? Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.